picture-perfect launch, at least from our perspective. I'm sure there's some details here and there that they had to fix, but Artemis is on its way. Sure, it took a little 54-year break between moon missions, but we're back, baby. Don't discount and don't let people discount and downplay how important and inspiring this is, because it is. This is incredible. You want proof? Just saw this. This just came across my timeline. Maybe you've seen it too. In 1971, grand scheme of things wasn't that long ago. You know what the number one, they asked high school and elementary school kids, number one goal for kids, what they wanted to be when they grew up in 1971 was an astronaut. You know there's other side of this coin. You know what it is now? They want to be influencers. Time to change that. And I'm telling you, this Artemis mission just may do it. So Godspeed to them. We'll get to that as well. Unfortunately, I hate to break the news to you. I know I've said this before. I think we have a stupid Supreme Court justice. We've all disagreed with some of them before. I think we have a dumb one. I think we really do. Because it was SCOTUS. It was POTUS at SCOTUS yesterday over birthright citizenship. Man, oh God, I wish there were cameras in the Supreme Court room for that one, but we don't have that. And it took me a few days. We're going to get to the Providence, Rhode Island, Irina Zarutska story, because now we finally can wrap our heads around it. And it's the hypocrisy is so bad. But there's some good news in this too. We'll talk about it. Anyway, thanks for finding Wicked Radio live stream and replay on X and YouTube and Facebook. Do me a favor. The algorithm is better these days. Put your notifications on for when we go live, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern time, and then the replay, and then the audio podcast, just about 9 a.m., right after we get off the live stream. Let's get right to it. A little long, starting from 10. I think it's completely worth it. I don't know if you saw this on TV. Some of the shots from people in Florida along the Space Coast, even like Orlando, amazing views of this. And did you see the view from that one airliner looking out the window and they saw Artemis launch right outside their flight? Unbelievable.
10, 9, 8, 7. RS-25 engines lit. 4, 3, 2, 1. Booster ignition. And liftoff. The crew of Artemis 2 now bound for the moon. Humanity's next great voyage begins.
Yes, it is. American ingenuity. Well, humanity ingenuity. Putting it all together. It's inspiring. It's awesome. It's an incredible mission. So much went into this. And little details here. Not all of them, but when you look at the entire scope of this entire mission, I just kind of wrote this stuff out from some stuff that was sent to me. It's a 10-day total mission. It's 5,000 miles from the moon's surface. The crew is going to sleep in the 4-hour time periods. That's how they take shifts. They were talking about that all day yesterday. Today, Orion engines will accelerate the craft to escape velocity. Days 3 and 5, they're going to fine-tune the approach to the moon. Day 6 is when the crew flies by the moon, when they ricochet by. Day 10, we'll jump to that. The crew will put on their proper suits and get ready for re-entry. They will re-enter the Earth's atmosphere at 25,000 miles per hour, and Godspeed to them. It's incredible. It's incredible what we've done. And we're not, if you're my age, if you're in your 50s, you're Gen X, we're not used to this kind of stuff. A long mission we can follow for 10 days like they used to back in the Apollo or even Mercury days. It's a long mission we can follow day by day. And the communication and the cameras are so much better too. Don't forget about that. We're going to get incredible shots of the moon as well from this whole thing. But it's about inspiration for everybody, including some of the former astronauts to listen to. Not Mark Kelly, not that little garden gnome. Don't listen to him. Some of the other former astronauts, a lot of them from the space shuttle program, were all over the news yesterday talking about it. Listen how excited this guy is. Jerry Linenger, former astronaut. Listen to him.
It's just awesome. They got to be so excited. And 2 years of working hard. God bless America. I mean, the things with the Trump space policy is unreal. He started it his first term, and this is the fruition of it. A big, beautiful bill had enough budget to make this kind of stuff happen. And, you know, America is great again. I am so proud.
A controversy popped up. Again, he was on Fox News, so he's, simpatico to the big, beautiful bill, but he's right. You're gonna have a lot of people telling you today, oh, it's got nothing to do with him. NASA's a space agency. And okay, go back to when he first announced. Remember the golden escalator days. He said it. He said it when he first ran the first time and won. We're going back to the moon. Not boots on the ground yet. But this is the first big step. Now, that guy was inspired, but nobody has been more inspired by the Artemis mission. Anybody in the world, I will go to say, than who's being called Space Kid. That's right. CNN, I know you've seen this, but it's worth another replay. And I apologize for the language. There's an F-bomb in here. I promise you it's totally worth it if you haven't seen or heard it. CNN goes to this kid at the Kennedy Space Center. He says, what inspires you? Why are you excited to be here? Looking for the deep, stupid, typical talking head reporter emotional response. And this kid nailed it perfectly.
Why do you want to be here? Why do you love space? Why do you love being a part of history?
We're going back to the frickin' moon, that's why.
I just love that kid. His face, I think he's going to be on T-shirts by the end of the day. Sorry. That was one of the rarities. Sorry for the F-bomb, but come on. Tell me that wasn't worth it. So we'll follow Artemis as we go by. Godspeed to him. It's inspiring. It really is. This stuff matters. Don't let them tell you it doesn't matter. You have to... It's better to have kids like him inspired to be astronauts and technicians and robotics engineers than it is to be social media influencers. Believe me, this is a better way to go. All right, let's get to POTUS at SCOTUS yesterday. The first time ever, I'm told, that a sitting president went to, walking down the street, not exactly walking, but the motorcade, to the Supreme Court courthouse. This is all over birthright citizenship. No, we don't have cameras in the courtroom at the Supreme Court, but God, I wish we did, just to see President Trump's reaction when he heard these arguments. He loves the guy that made the argument. I don't know how it's going to turn out about the birthright citizenship. Obviously, the system's being abused, mostly by very, very wealthy and influential foreign dignitaries who claim like 70, 75 kids over here. A lot of them from China, from other countries as well. This is what Trump's trying to stop. The argument devolved into something that to me was absolutely incredible. No, there's no video, but we do have audio. I've said this before, and it pains me to say it because I don't want to live in a country like this, but we have it for the next 30 years. Is that about the lifespan, but the working lifespan of a Supreme Court justice? 30 years, let's give or take. The newest one, Justice Brown Jackson, the last time she said something really dumb, made a big deal because we have the audio of it, this even topped that. I hate to say it. It pains me to say it. I think we have a dumb Supreme Court justice. I think she's just dumb. I really do. People have said, now you may have Supreme Court justices back there. Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Maybe you or I didn't agree with her for many things, many stances on issues, policy issues, right? You couldn't argue that she wasn't smart, though. Brilliant person. This one, I don't think so much. She likened birthright citizenship to allegiance to a country, but used a crime to make her argument. I know it doesn't make any sense. You got to just listen to it.
I was thinking about this, and I think there are various sources that say this, that you obviously have permanent allegiance based on being born in whatever country you're from. That's what everybody recognizes. But you also have local allegiance when you are on the soil of this other sovereign. And I was thinking, I, a U.S. citizen, am visiting Japan. And what it means is that, if I steal someone's wallet in Japan, the Japanese authorities can arrest me and prosecute me. It's allegiance, meaning can they control you as a matter of law. I can also rely on them if my wallet is stolen to, under Japanese law, go and prosecute the person who has stolen.
Huh? Again. Oh my God, I wish there was a camera in that courtroom just to flash to Trump's face or anybody else's or opposing counsel's face on that. She likened her argument for allegiance to a country that for birthright citizenship, she used a theft example. I don't know. And I don't know how it's going to turn out, but I mean, the history part of this thing was President Trump, first sitting president to go to and witness in person oral arguments before a Supreme Court case. Pretty wild. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. All right, this one I held off for now 3 days. First of all, I'm going to be completely honest with you because I had to get my head together for this because I'm enraged by it so much. And I know you've seen the story because now it's making national headlines. That's part of the story. And that's, believe it or not, as outrageous as this is, as infuriating as it is, that's the good part of this story is that people are more aware of it now because they didn't used to be. I'm talking about Providence, Rhode Island. It's a dump. I will just tell you that as a native New Englander. I will tell you Providence is a dump, and there's a reason why it's a dump is because They vote for consistently and have for years people like this. Here's the background of the story. A business owner happens to be a bar. Business owner happens to be part of the LGBTQ community. Also part of the story. Bar property has a big wall side, facing like street level. And they wanted to, and did, hire an artist from the artist community to paint a big, beautiful mural of Irina Zarutska. She, of course, was the Ukrainian girl who escaped war to come to the United States, and she was murdered on a commuter train in Charlotte. It happened last year. I'm sure you remember that. It was horrifying. Because a criminal that was on the street and shouldn't have been. You know the whole story. So they wanted to honor her. What happened? What's the result? The politicians in Providence, Rhode Island demanded, and successfully did, by the way, get that mural taken down and destroyed and removed. Ask yourself why. You know why. You know the answer. Because this happens to be a pretty white girl. That's who Irina Zarutska was. That's why. But the reasoning was something completely different. Doesn't align with their values in Providence somehow. Okay, again, private property paid for by a bar owner, part of the LGBTQ community. But the image of that person didn't align with their values. First of all, here's a state politician. And he went on the local media, and then it kind of exploded from there.
Ultimately, we want to make sure that every community member that calls Providence home feels safe. And we can both agree that this mural behind us does not reflect Providence's values, nor does it reflect the creativity that we want to see in our city.
The mural of a murdered Ukrainian girl who came to the States to escape war does not reflect their values. Again, all you have to do is ask yourself out loud, why? You know why. You know the answer why. It's because the image of it. They have George Floyd statues in that city. Yes, they do. But here you have a girl, again, who escaped war from Ukraine and came to the United States and was hacked to death on a commuter train in Charlotte, North Carolina. Business owner in Providence, Rhode Island wanted to put a mural up here to remember her so she's not forgotten. That does not reflect their values. They're telling you exactly what they are. So, here you go. Here's the national story, and it explodes. So now you've got the mayor. You might remember the mayor, actually. Do you remember the Brown University, the terrible shooting, of that whole incident? And he kept on hijacking the news conferences and saying that, stop asking questions and we're working too hard and all this idiot, right? Mayor Smiley. Well, now, and this is the good part of the story, national outrage is forcing him to speak on it. And of course, he's going to start with the local Providence TV, local yokels. Here's what he said.
You've gotten some national media attention for your response to this. And because I'm paraphrasing here, you said the intent behind these murals is divisive and does not represent Providence. The murals artist sort of feels like he was stifled. Do you have any regrets about what you said and how you handled it?
I regret the state of where we are in politics today, where absolutely everything is political and controversial and hard. There's nothing we should be doing to take away from the tragedy of the loss of life that was represented here. But then it was distorted by an erroneous tweet by our president, and then a movement was funded by some right-wing billionaires, and it found its way to our community. We have a lot.
Okay. I love that. I love that statement. Well, I hate the way I hate where politics is going now. I just hate it. Oh, who took it there? Mayor? Who did that? Who exactly did it? Here's what you hate. Here's the translation of what he's saying. He hates the pushback. And the pushback, therein lies the real story, and that's the takeaway, because pushback happens now. Let's just pretend that this story happened a couple of years ago, 3 years ago. Let's just put it at that, 3 to 5. Is there national pushback? Probably not. Because the mindset wasn't there and the exposure wasn't there. But we control social media now, and that's why this exploded. That's why this story has national outrage for little Providence, Rhode Island, because of their hypocrisy. And I would bet you dollars to donuts. I didn't look myself. I don't want to delve that far into their social media. I don't want to get into the mind of these crooks. I really don't. But I would bet you dollars to donuts that the state politicians, that mayor, and all these other little wimpy, disgusting, hypocritical tyrants still have Ukrainian flags in their bios and their social media. I would bet you they still do. But you know the irony, third time I've said it, you've got a Ukrainian girl who came to this country to escape war, who was murdered in North Carolina. Bar owner in their city decides to put up a mural to make sure that we don't forget about her. That doesn't reflect our values. You know why. Her look doesn't reflect their values. You know exactly why. You know exactly what they're doing there. You absolutely disgusting hypocrites. And now, and again, as outrageous as that is, and that's why I've waited 3 days to talk about it, I too had to wrap my head around it. Now the national outrage got a hold of this thing. That's the good news. Don't let people like that. Mayor Smiley, oh, I hate where politics are right now. No, you hate that people push back and expose your hypocrisy. You little, wimpy, disingenuous clown. Because now people like you are getting exposed. That's what they hate. Keep exposing them. So we'll see what happens. Oh, and here's the other piece of good news on this. There's always a counter effect. So this outrage happened and the pushback happened nationally about the Providence mural story with Arena. Different city. Fort Lauderdale, Florida. That's not too far from me. There's a building that put up an even better, bigger, more beautiful mural because of Providence's action of Irina Zarotska. There's always a counteraction, and that's happening now. That's the good story. All right, let's get out of here. Be inspired. Let kids be inspired. This is a great thing. Don't let anybody downplay it or pour water on Artemis. If you've run into anybody today that's saying, oh, it's just a rocket, it's got nothing to do with it. No, this is a big one. Godspeed to them. Be inspired today and make it a wicked awesome Thursday. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. Again, if you're an ex-watcher, listener, whatever, put your notifications on. Appreciate you so much. The replay always on X and YouTube and on Facebook. Audio podcast gets posted just a little bit after we get off the live stream, usually about 9 a.m. Eastern time. We're all getting closer to Friday, almost at the weekend. Thanks for hanging out with me. Make it a wicked awesome one. I'll talk to you tomorrow.